Hi, I'm Bubka, and in today's clip we're going to talk about methodology. Recently I had a few questions about methodology in my club and why did I do certain changes in the syllabus and how way we approaching the teaching. So in previously we had the usual syllabus which been like a pyramid. So you've got lots of techniques on the early grades like 10, 9, 8, 7, 6Q. You've got lots of random techniques, kicks, punches, and everything, which then it grows to less of them and more specialization. I kind of don't agree with that, and I think most of the sports people don't agree with it as well. So we've got a reverse pyramid, we've got a small amount of techniques which are easy, so easier to learn, and then with progression you're getting more complicated and more of them. So student can get better at the easiest stuff and then progress to more complicated stuff. And then that pyramid comes back again to the point where, let's say from the fifth Q, starting specialization in those techniques. So you know whole spectrum of the techniques, but then you start picking your favorites and start specialization with those. Same with kata. So we're starting with the pinans, 5 pinans. Then we progress to a few other katas, but then from the first dan you are choosing 3 katas which you do specialization in it. So you study those, and for the progression you choose your favorite ones or the ones which suit you most. For us as well is from day one students training in pairs. I don't do much of a kihon. Of course there is a kihon, so we can improve our skills and the technical aspect of it, but mostly we're working in pairs, so people are partner up and do it. And we're starting from the application, so it is easier for people to do kata when they know what they're doing, than trying imagine or follow this move and then learn the application for it. It's kind of in the same time. So let's say we're doing starting warm up, then we're doing partner work, and then we're moving on to learning kata and doing the moves. So it goes in pair. And the biggest change I made is I drop off completely the kind of military style of teaching. So there's no more very regimented and stressful environment where people are told what to do, how to stand, can't move, can't drink, can you have to ask for everything. You cannot smile, you cannot talk. You have to focus on training. I changed it because I for 5 years now, 5 or more years now, I'm working with elderly, and what I noticed, we created a completely stress-free uh, environment, and they teaching and picking up katas quicker than younger people who are on stress due to all the time judging and correcting and stuff like that, and gradings. Of course, there is a respectful atmosphere and is not taking a mickey, uh, but I don't pressurize people. It's all fun, and respect is earned. And I noticed that people actually learn quicker, in my opinion. So I stick to that. It's more friendly atmosphere. If somebody wants a drink, just go for a drink. Let me know that he's going for a drink. There's no problem. People can ask questions. We're talking during the session. Uh, Not to the degree that they cannot focus on it. When we do drills, they focus and they do what they need to do. But in between, there's no problem with chatting, asking questions, and there's not much of a. We kept the ceremony and stuff like that, but there's no formality during the class, so they address me by name, or if they want sensei or stuff like that, I'm fine with it. I think it's giving better results than being kind of uptight and not approachable. Yes, all those changes I've took through my experience in wrestling and observing and working with wrestling coaches and training with them. That in the sport they're more relaxed and doing starting from the very basic stuff and then progress to more complicated and more broad techniques, and that's what we do in my club, and that's how I changed my karate, and I think it works better for my students. The only drawback is that they don't look as pretty in the katas. I don't have the pressure on the kata to be pretty and very aesthetically pleasing. For me, it must work. If they can explain to me what they're doing and why they're doing, I'm not picking on their performance too much, and we don't need to know Japanese names, and I dropped that as well. If people want, we've got a kind of two line of the training and studying. So one is completely relaxed, so you don't need to do gradings and belts and follow the names and stuff like that. But if somebody is interested in that side of it, that's fine. We've got a route for that as well. So we've got the syllabuses and everything with the Japanese names and English names and Polish names, of course, and they can follow that and go that route, and it's all kind of more traditional. But if somebody prefers the very relaxed manner of it, it's fine, and there's no problem combining those people together in one classroom. Also, I changed the gradings, so we don't have a grading as such that everybody comes in and it's a particular time they have to get prepared and stuff like that. It's I do a yearly assessment. That's kind of a bit like in BJJ. So if they put out the work and they work and I can see they're better, I usually take one of the other teachers with me just to cross-check on me if I'm not being a bit biased and promoting people because I like them or something like that. So I've got always an external examiner, friend or sensei coming and having a look and pointing out things which I might missed and not being aware that that needs to be improved or stuff, because I'm training all the time with the people, so you kind of get used to it and you start sometimes missing things due to either my mistake in teaching or just people don't pick up, and it's nice to have somebody else to have a look with a critical eye and give you nice feedback, and then we can work on something else, and that gives me improvement as well into my teaching. But yeah, I just got a yearly assessment, which after that the person is promoted or not, or there's no grading as such that everybody comes in and line up and they have to perform and show. Usually it's just the date of we've got a date of the grading, but that's usually just a confirmation and ends up with the certification. So it's more a kind of a fun training to see what they do and how they perform under a little bit of a pressure. But everybody knows it's assessment through the year and see their progression. If they deserved it, they got it. If they didn't, they don't. I changed it because I noticed that I started with a dropping of belt system completely, but I noticed that especially younger people didn't get the motivation, or we like to be rewarded, and the belt system is great for that. People are happy that they achieved something, and it shows them the discipline moving, especially for people like we've got a few students with disabilities. So for example, for autistic people, that reward is really, really good. I think for everybody actually, I like to be rewarded as well, especially if I'm doing good things and the short-term goals are achieved. It helped me to see the road for the long-term achievement. But then you've got other people who, when you say that the grading is, let's say on this and this date, they start turning up just before, and then just go through the grading and then disappear, which it was not that much of effect in my club, but I've seen around in different clubs that it's happening a lot. So I thought, let's try this way, and it works. My students love it, and there's no pressure. They know they have to work hard through the all the year, and not just turn up for a few sessions before and pass the grading. So it helps as well with the building community and people working together towards the same goal for the year. Also, the another change is that my syllabus is completely based on kata, so all the kihon for a ninth and 10th Q is based on the Pinan Sonoichi for us, or Pinan Nidan or Heian Shodan, depends what system you do. And then the progression to the Pinan Sono Ni, Pinan Sono San, so every grade got the techniques from that kata, plus application and plus flow drills. And like I said, everybody is working mostly in a pair, so they all know what they're doing. And I think it's working for me. My students say it's a better system, works for them. Obviously, not for everybody will work. All of our teachers got their own way of teaching and prefer methods. That's what I chosen, and that's what I'm sticking to. Maybe in a few years I figure out a better way, or see that this doesn't bring the right results for me or my students, and then we modify it whatever we need to. That's what what the grade is about, being a teacher and have a freedom, and being a member of the association like combat karate. Um, British Combat Karate Association, which you've got that freedom and expertise of people who can help you and advise you on better methods and learning from them. So yeah, for me the most useful methodology got the wrestling, and I'm learning from them and taking from them whatever I can, and transfer it to the karate. It works for me. Yeah, and I'm happy with it. My student seems to be liking it as well, and there's no problems, no complaints. I've got a few people from different clubs, and they kind of express their opinion that this works better, and focusing mainly on working in pairs brings them more benefit than just doing kihon and then have a few practical applications. So we are the club with the hands-on all the time, and yeah, it works. I'm happy with it, and I hope that answers a question from few people. We had a great conversation actually when Chris Hansen was here with John Teachin and Lee Sims and Chris Hansen, obviously, about the methods of they using and how I'm using, and we had a great exchange, and everybody had their valid points, and yeah, all the people doing great job, and the practical karate movement I think is ahead of all of the karate association and forums with the methodology for applications. Not necessarily the sports one. I suppose the sports karate is better in that. Um, but yeah, I think that there needs to be changes for whatever purpose your club is, or whatever you're preparing your students, because sports methodology will be completely different focused than practical self-defense or just the martial art hobby. So yeah, I think that's it what I've got to say about it. I hope you enjoyed the clip. If you liked it, please subscribe, like it, and share via social media if you wish. Thank you for your time, and see you next time.